Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 5 of the CMU Sport Management Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Sandel, and today I'm joined by two very special guests, two very important guys in my life some time ago. And we meet once again, Derrick Morris and Steve Parham. How are you guys doing today?
Doing
Good,
good, man. Doing real good.
Really happy to have you guys on. We go way back. These guys were, while they were at CMU, they were my coaches of my freshman basketball team when I was in high school. And now I'm in the spot that they were in at CMU, which is pretty hilarious.
full circle.
Yeah, full circle for sure.
Yeah, it really is. So I want to just get started off with you guys. Like, obviously, we're going to get into when you guys were in college and kind of the process of getting to where you're at now. But if you guys could just like explain currently what you guys are up to. Obviously, I know I'm going to refer to you guys as coach because that's just what I'm used to. But Coach Steve, obviously, like I know you're at Liberty now. And Coach D, I know that you have a spot with like the NBA. So like, how has that been going with you guys?
Go ahead, Steve.
Oh, all right. Well, it's been good. Just starting grad school. I'm actually starting to do my transition out of coaching. I've been doing it for about 8 years now, something like that. 8 years plus, I would say. And a lot of the guys that I had from AU from middle school and then high school freshmen, they're all either playing Division I basketball still, or we're actually getting ready to play pro. So once I kind of got all my guys I started with out, I've kind of went back to school, getting my master's in sports management as well, or sport management as well, and now I'm starting to actually do my transition to get to the NBA myself.
Okay, I like that. What about you, Coach D?
Hey, man. I'm in law school at Syracuse right now. I had a long journey. I got my master's from University of Kansas, man, and always been involved with sports or trying to touch it at least with the business of basketball. I went to summer league, not this past summer league, but the one before. And now I'm going through. I was intern with the Detroit Pistons, legal intern, and that was a really cool experience being a Pistons fan myself, and then just a general fan of the NBA, and then hometown team too. But now I'm going through the Future Basketball Operation Stars program put on by the NBA, and it's a 6-month seminar trainee course where you just learn about the NBA and all of the different departments.
Okay, I got you. Obviously, the NBA started last night, so it's a very fun time of year. I assume that's going to be a pretty fun experience over the next couple of months. So when you guys back before you even got into college, before even starting at CMU, like what was the inspiration on going to college involved in sport management? I know you guys were both ball players, obviously, so I assume that had something to do with it. But what was that like?
It probably goes back to like 4 years old for me.
Yeah.
It's something like basketball took a hold of me as a kid, and it never let go. So I've always been just trying to pursue it in some capacity. Like it started off like you said playing, but then I ended up getting hurt in terms of my ACL, my MCL, and all that stuff in junior college. So I wasn't able to even play beyond a certain point. And then after that, I had to figure out what I could do to still be involved in the game. And that's kind of how I got into coaching and been just literally chasing that tail in a sense, like ever since. It's just been, I've never seen myself doing anything outside of working in basketball. Like it's just been, I still have that same passion and feel like I do when I was a kid. And I've been, and like I said, I'm obviously grown now, but I just never lost that passion to be in basketball. So I literally just been chasing it since, like I said, since 4 years old. That's when I can remember it. It's the earliest stage.
Yeah, and that makes sense, going into sport management too, because that's something you can go and do along with coaching as well, which obviously you have done. So what about you, Coach D?
Hey, man, similarly to Steve, fell in love with the game at a young age, collected basketball cards, talking about different hoop, what I mean? Talking with family and stuff like that. But I wanted to play in college, but I didn't get the opportunity to that I wanted. I had opportunities to play at a different level, but I was kind of stuck on playing at the Division I level. And when that didn't happen, I decided to I think me and Steve met in sport management class. We met in Professor Adler's class. And that's how we got connected to even coach you back a while. But I just wanted to be around sports. And that class, honestly, was the first class where I felt like, okay, I'm doing something that I wanted to do. I remember we had the Pistons ticket sales
Yep,
competition.
that's still a thing to this day too. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember doing that. I don't remember selling that many tickets, but I remember how fun it was to go to the game and be around people that talked about sports. So that's kind of the story for me. But it's really a deep rooted passion for the game of basketball in particular for me.
Yeah, I actually won that or to finish
Yeah,
top
you did. I
three.
remember.
For real, really?
Yeah.
I finished top three. They actually, that's crazy. Still going on. I actually got offered a job in after. I just
Yeah, they hook you up with like an interview and everything if you
yeah,
finish at the
I
top and
just was
stuff.
still chasing coaching at that time, and I ended up getting a job at Detroit Country Day like as soon as I graduated. So it almost worked itself out. But yeah, that's crazy. It's still going on.
That is great.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. So Coach Derrick, I wanted to ask you, I saw that this morning on LinkedIn, you posted something about an article written from the Syracuse College of Law about you. So do you want to like plug that a little bit? Like what is that all about?
Yeah, man. So recently I was accepted, as I explained before, into the Future Basketball Operation Stars program. The law school reached out to me, wanted to ask about kind of my journey and all the things that I've been doing. And the main takeaway from that is, it's not linear and hasn't been linear for me. And I don't think that it's linear for anybody as far as like working in sports. That's the biggest takeaway that I have. I've been to Kansas. I managed the men's basketball living facility. I'm here at Syracuse now. It took me a while to kind of get my feet under me to try to get some experience within the league, but it's just a grind, man. And that article really highlighted that grind and all that I've done and will continue to do to be a sponge. And of course, it's cool to be recognized, but I do realize that it's still a lot of work to be done. Still a lot for me to learn. Like I'm still a sponge. I still try to reach out to learn as much as I can, man. And that was a dope moment for me because law school is really tough and it's a challenge, man. And it just seeing my growth with it has been beneficial just overall.
Yeah, and I think that like every guest that I've had on so far, like always mentions about the different stops that you have, like you don't just go to one spot and you're there the whole time. It's all about moving on and getting different opportunities and new experiences and everything. Coach Steve, what about you? Like with the spots that you've been coaching, like take me across your path about, from when because was coaching my team that freshman year, like your guys' first coaching experience?
Yes, that was
okay. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, that was the first time.
That was the dipping your feet in the water moment right there.
That was the moment there. And that was the start for me. It was literally Bill City was the start. And then from there it was Country Day. And then I spent 3 seasons at Country Day, also while coaching AAU with the family. And then I went to Lindenwood University. That was my first experience with college. From there, Lindenwood's in St. Louis. So from there I came back and was at River Rouge High School. And then from River Rouge, I went to, what was next? Michigan Collegiate. And then from Michigan Collegiate, I am at UPrep, Science and Math. So it's been a lot of stops. And each stop actually was something that I felt like I gained from each one, just as far as the experience of, coaching really good, talented kids, but also going somewhere new to where I had more say-so in a sense. So like when I was at Country Day, it was a great place, historical place, but it was just like, that was still the beginning for me. I was only second year coaching, still trying to figure things out fresh out of college. And then getting to Lindenwood University, that was like my whole thing. I was telling Derrick all the time, like, I just want to get to college. Like I want to coach college. I want to be in college. I want to be in college. And when it finally happened, it was just like, all right, what's next? I kind of had other opportunities to coach at different universities after that, but I ended up going back to the high school rankings. And then, honestly, man, once I got to the point that I'm at now, it was almost like, all right, I'm ready to do something else. It was because I feel like for me, coaching was that extension through playing.
Right.
I didn't get to finish playing how I wanted to finish. And, guys being athletes, we kind of want to guard on our own sword. I don't want anybody to tell me when I can't play anymore. I want to be able to decide when I can't play anymore. Right. So with coaching, that's what it allowed me to do. I was able to, like I said, like go through all these paths while I still was like feeding that monster that was within me that still wanted to play in a sense. And that's kind of what it allowed me to do. And then now that, this is getting to the end of that, because now the monster's kind of fed at this point. I've kind of done all the things I wanted to do. I've coached. I've literally touched every level but professional, but I still, trained and coached a lot of professionals in the sense of that.
Right.
So now that I'm, like I said, back in school, I'm actually able to focus on that different aspect of which is the business side of basketball. And that's kind of like that's been the main focus, but I kind of had that bump in the road with being hurt to where it was like, okay, I got to close that chapter before I can do something else. And coaching was that chapter. Like I said, it started with you guys, and that was like, it sparked something in me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is fun. I could see myself doing this for a while. And I did do it for a while. And then, like I said, now it's just that transition, going back to school. I'm actually got some papers due this week. And really, it's honestly just it's not starting the ball over, but it's just starting the ball in a different place.
Yeah, and I think that, like chasing your master's degree in sport management allows you to stay on that same path of, being involved in sports for hopefully the rest of your life, which is something that basically everyone in sport management wants to do.
Yeah, and that's it's the best. I don't know. Sports to me is just the best thing in the world. Like I wake up every day and it's like, man, I go to the gym for 3 hours and I get paid like that. Like I really don't have any complaints. And if you can figure out what your niche is in it, man, it's gonna be fun forever. You just got the biggest thing is because sports management is it's in a sense it's broad. You kind of do anything with a degree in sports. Yeah. So you can work as far as if you want to be someone that helps set up and tear down the court before.
Yeah, like doing event operations.
Yeah,
and stuff.
You can do that type of stuff, even all the way up to working in the front office. Like it's a wide spectrum of things you can do. So I think that it's to continue with it. It's like I still have other goals and dreams and aspirations for myself. So that's within sports. So that's why the master's degree almost is like a must for me because I did so many years of just one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So for you, Coach D, like obviously Coach D just took me along his path of coaching. So you've mentioned, like you were at Kansas and were with the Pistons for a while, now at Syracuse. Like what was the process of kind of like going to the next step? Like once you're at Kansas, like trying to figure out where you're going to go next. Like how was that situation like?
Man, honestly, man, the passion kind of guided me throughout the entire process, man. So for me, hoop was one of the reasons why I picked Kansas. Like I could have went to Kansas State, for example, but that's not as much as big of a basketball pedigree. So that's why I decided to go there. But once I got at Kansas and I got an opportunity to be around, and I met Bill Self on my visit there, that kind of changed the trajectory, and it was really, really cool just to meet him. And I managed the living facility of the men's basketball team. And what that means is I got a chance to see behind the scenes and all the things that a basketball team has to do as far as like operations and their travel schedule and
especially a team at that high of a level too.
Yeah. Kansas doesn't have a professional team like the state of Kansas. So KU literally is treated as their professional team. So once I received that opportunity, that's how I started thinking about law school. Like maybe I want to be an agent. Maybe I, want to get into salary cap management or managing, professional players. Once I decided that, got into law school. Really a winding road. Like it wasn't not linear, man. But the thing that permeated through all of that was, my passion for basketball. But it kind of starts back at Bill City. Like when I was at CMU, like I was still trying to play basketball. I was still trying to make the team. And being around y'all, man, was really beneficial. And shout out to Coach Steve, man. And Steve, he saw something in me, gave me an opportunity, man, and to coach y'all along with him. And y'all really kind of ignited that passion back for me as far as figuring out, like, okay, what do I really want to do? And kind of merging that with sport management and all the things that you can do with event management. Like, okay, let's get my feet wet with some stuff. I got some experience behind me. I know that I can coach. I know that I know the game. I know that I can, manage and just think about different things that have to go along with basketball. And yeah, that's kind of the winding road. And now I'm here at Syracuse. I've, interned with the women's basketball team. I did that in my first year. Something important for me at every step was to be at a basketball, location.
Yeah.
So you can, meet people within the space. And I figured I could network my way into receiving opportunities. And that's exactly, what I did. Like nobody reached out to me for, being an intern with the women's basketball team. That came from me putting myself out there. And then somebody finally hitting me back because I had to, email so many times, just being, just open and available to help where I can. And that was a great experience. Like I got a chance to learn about film, and cutting film. And that's not something that I had expertise in, but here I am in the Syracuse Carrier Dome at the time where it's like a rickety thing. And I got to film the game, the women's game versus Notre Dame. Yeah. And it's like, this is crazy. Like I didn't imagine myself doing this, but I received the opportunity to do that. So, yeah, man, it just came from putting myself out there, and that passion for hoop, man. It's just really what pushed me through to do that.
Yeah, and a lot of people that have come on here have mentioned like networking and like making connections is really like the crucial part about advancing yourself, and even just meeting people that have had better experiences that can kind of introduce you to those things.
Absolutely.
No, I'm going to tell you this. The networking is probably the biggest.
Yeah, facts.
I haven't – every job I received is because I networked prior.
Facts.
It's just been so AAU has been like really, really fortunate to coach at the EYBL level. Right? Because I know Nike EYBL. It's like the highest of AAU. So being able to coach at that level and to network with so many Division I coaches and then assistant coaches and I like the top high schools that are like prep schools and stuff like that. Those relationships have definitely been the reason one of the reasons why I've been able to just move around so much in the coaching space within myself, just because the networks. Like I don't think that I got a phone call from one of my good friends who had a connection to the head coach at River Rouge. That's why I got the job. Detroit Country Day is literally, I got that job because I did player development with Central Michigan basketball players, and one of the guys from the team went to Detroit Country Day. That's Chris Fowler. So he was the person that I reached out to get me the job at Detroit Country Day. Going to Lindenwood University, Kyle Gerdeman was the assistant coach at Central Michigan. He became the head coach at Lindenwood University. Well, he remembered me because of what I did to help out with the men's team at CMU while I was there. That's how I got the job at Lindenwood. So literally the connections and the networking, it's been everything for me because I haven't formally put in a resume. It's just been connection based, and that's how I've been able to get to where I'm at now.
Yeah, that shows how important it is, really. Like if you make connections with people, it can lead to a lot of great things. So
and kind of going off of that too, like I think it's important to remain patient, with your connections with man, and just be kind to yourself throughout that process, man. It don't come overnight. You got to put the work in. The reason why Steve received those opportunities because he was putting the work in the gym with the players on the team. You know what I mean? So just be patient and put work in with networking. It's not just meeting a person and they give you an opportunity. It doesn't work like that. Like Kyle. Like you got a podcast. You got a podcast over 200 episodes, man. You know what I mean?
I do. That's and then now I got this one.
And then you got
putting in work. Yeah,
putting in work. So that's doing stuff like that is something that's going to help you and can help others if they apply the same logic.
Yeah, and exactly. And even like doing this podcast through the sport management program, like I've met already like a bunch of people just even on LinkedIn I haven't even met in person, like just to have connections with and try to have them on the podcast and stuff. And obviously like you guys reached out to be on, and it was another great experience. Like I think that's a big part is not like when you get an opportunity to have a new experience, you have to accept it because you don't know what you're going to get out of it. Yeah, and I think it's a great opportunity every time.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. So let me take you guys back to when you were coaching me back in high school, when you guys were in college. What was you guys talked about? Obviously Professor Adler's class, like that was kind of where it all started for you guys. What was your like favorite part about the sport management program, or at least some like memories that you have being in the program at CMU? What year did you guys graduate CMU? 2016, would that have been? Was it 15 maybe?
Steve was 16. I was 17.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm about to say I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember this. I was
crazy to think that was that long ago.
Yeah, man. Long time ago.
What was it was fun. That was my first initial. I actually had fun.
And obviously you said you work like with the basketball team and stuff. Like that's huge.
Yeah, but the classroom, man. Like I enjoyed going to Professor Arber's class.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed going to Adler's class. Like I enjoyed, because I actually feel like they was teaching me something. For school for me was always boring. Like it was boring. Like prereq stuff was boring. High school was boring. Like I didn't feel like it was too much information that I was getting that I kind of didn't know already. But like going into the sports management program and like having, like just wide-eyed with like just trying to just consume so much information, being somewhere where it's just like I love sports. So this is like I'm around people that's like-minded who love sports. Those classes were fun. Like it was really like discussion based. It wasn't like an old fashioned, okay, read this chapter and we're gonna just go over this. It was a lot of things were just, engaged. We had like small group projects and stuff. Like I just enjoyed my time being there because I learned, and it was a fun environment, and it was with people who understood the business. So I feel like the information that I was able to take from Adler, from Ulrich, and there's many more. Like I said, I can't think off the top of my head right now. But like the information I was able to take from them, I still use today. Yeah. Like it's finding out about the Teamwork Online site from Adler, like how big that's been in my life, because I've been able to meet and connect with people from that site through LinkedIn and things of that nature. Like it was fun, but it was useful. Like I think that was kind of the biggest thing that I took from being in there. Like it was useful work. It was useful information. Like I said, I've been out of college for a while. Well, back in there now, but been from CMU for a while. Yeah. And I still take, tidbits from those classrooms that I still use today. Like it's one of the best. Like I don't know how much information or hype they get behind it, but that sports management programs was one of the best out here, because a lot of people that I graduated with are still doing great things in the sport as well. It's not like I'm doing well, Derrick's doing well. It's like, no, I keep contact with a lot of people that I had class with. And like Caitlin Patterson, name drop. Like she's worked for the Pistons. She works in the NHL now. She has like two Stanley Cup championship rings, like with the Lightning, because they won too.
That's awesome.
So it's been a lot of people that's come through that program, and that's doing great things in sports right now. So like I say, it's one of the best out there.
Yeah, and I think that like our professors, like you guys have mentioned, the same people that are still there to this day. Like everyone talks about how great the professors are, and they give the useful information, and the staff stays consistent. It's not a lot of turnover. Like they enjoy being there. I've had a couple professors on, and they repeat the same information. Like they love the program and teaching it, and they all are on the same page as far as like we want to teach these guys and give them the right experience. So anything different for you, Coach D, or is it a lot of the same that Coach Steve said?
A lot of the same things, man. But I would say something that I learned about was the foundations of sports. And what I mean, like sports as a concept and how important it is in society. Like I think sports is one of the easiest ways to understand somebody, like if you watch them play a sport or if you play a sport with them. So we talked about that. Okay. I think it was Professor Ulrich's class. We talked about the importance of sports in society.
Yeah.
That was really cool. So that would be the only thing that I add.
Yeah, I think in sports it's more than just the game. Like it's everything. We talk about all the behind the scenes stuff, like the amount of people that are involved in sport, the amount of financial, that is involved in sports. Like it's there's so much involved in it. And I think that's why the sport management program is so interesting, because there's so many levels to it,
Yeah, it's a ton.
Yeah.
It's a ton.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this: throughout your time from CMU to now, what are some of the challenges that you guys have faced? Whether it can be with coaching with you, Coach Steve, it can be in the law program with you, Coach D. Like, what are some challenges that you guys have faced up to this point so far that are kind of relate to working in sports?
What is just a few? What I would say, a lot of it is challenges in the sense of just like having to wait your turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's kind of been the level of patience that you have to endure. You see Derrick shaking his head. Like that's probably the biggest thing. Like this isn't microwave based. It's definitely oven based. It's definitely, prepare, put in the oven, wait for some hours, let it cool off before you can eat. Like it's one of those things that it's not going to happen year one. It's not going to happen year two. So you can get lucky and it does, but it's just a waiting time, man. It's like waiting your turn, And then when that moment comes, being so focused and locked in that you're able to take advantage of it when it happens. Because if you miss that turn, it may be another 30 miles before the next exit.
Yeah.
Like
I
that's
like
kind of
that.
that's kind of the biggest thing, man. It's a lot of waiting. It's a lot of grunt work. It's a lot of things you're going to do that you're just not going to get the credit for, which that maybe if you did get a little bit credit, it may be able to jolt you forward a little bit. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So like from my own experiences, man, it's what I mean, workouts I did with players that's just like I can see them getting better because of the work that we put in, but like I'm not gonna get the credit for that. I gotta just deal with that. That's someone else is gonna get the credit for that because I only work with them during this period of time. So when they go off to their high school to their college, those guys are gonna get that he's from year 1 to year 2 the jump has been this. It's like we kind of spent 4 days 5 days in the gym for months for us to try to catapult the results that we get, but it's not gonna always be that for you. But that's probably my biggest one. It's going to be different things. You're going to have, you're not going to always like who you work with. It's going to always be jobs that's like, I thought this was going to be one way and it's not. But the biggest thing for me is honestly just the waiting.
Yeah,
the waiting
the
in
patience
line and
needed.
waiting
Yeah.
for your time and your moment. That's probably the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I would reiterate some of the same things, especially on the patience point. Being in law school classes and you sitting in I think it's a sports law class, and the guy in front of you, he's going to be with the Milwaukee Bucks, and the girl's going to be with the Miami Dolphins, and your homie going to be with the NFLPA, and somebody just got with the Nets, and you sitting there like, man, like I've been putting the work in, I just ain't seen nothing yet. But it brings me back to like a quote that I always think to myself, like okay, it's just not your turn yet, and like having that amount of patience. To know that the work that you're putting in will pay off, to know that you're going to keep doing the work. It takes a lot of strength, man, and it takes a lot of mental fortitude. And we all grew up playing sports, and so we know like how mentally challenging it can be. And I think for me, the law school journey has been similar back when I played basketball in terms of my mental approach. Like, how am I approaching my daily tasks? When I was playing basketball, Steve knows, like I was getting up every day, working out, and making sure that I was in the gym and doing things that I needed to do in order to be better. Like, okay, how can I apply that to what I'm doing in law school? And it's kind of the same thing, but it just comes back to that patience, man. It's not gonna come overnight. Mm-hmm. And one of my mentors now always says that it's like you won't get it all at one time. So why are you trying to rush through everything? And that's like a big thing for me in general. I bet if Steve watched film of me playing basketball, he would tell me to slow down. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing, in life. That's why I said earlier, like, sports is a reflection of who we are as people, because you can see some of the similar trends. But yeah, that's what I would say. You just got to remain patient and keep your foot to the ground, man, and keep walking.
Yeah. I really like that analogy of like comparing sports to real life, because there's so many skills that, like your discipline and your just your inner self, so just trying to push yourself to as much as you can and staying locked in and everything. Like you guys obviously were high level basketball players. Like all those same traits apply to real life, just like you explained, Coach D. So, okay. So the last thing I have for you guys is, what would you guys say? You've gone over some great, like, just things that you've learned so far, but for current students in the sport management program, like what would you guys say is your biggest piece of advice? If you want, for people that want to work in sports for the rest of their life. You guys have gone over some great stuff. So if it's repeating some of the same things, that's totally fine.
I think the biggest thing for me would be LinkedIn. And make sure you get on LinkedIn and be active as you can. And apply to internships while in undergrad. That's something that I didn't do. Like, I didn't get a chance to do internships while in undergrad because that just wasn't my focus area. But some advice that I would give to current undergraduate students is build your LinkedIn, develop relationships with your professors, because they know the people that can get you the opportunity that you want. Be consistent. That's another thing. And then just, continue to build your why. You're still in the building stages now. You don't have to know exactly what it is that you want to do right now. You're still building. So be kind to yourself throughout that process, but also have enough confidence to say what it is that you want to do and share that with people who need to know and your professors. You know what I mean? And, continue to do the work. So that's what I would say.
I'm going to add to that, definitely the internship. So I actually did do an internship during my undergrad, and that's huge. Like you said, the LinkedIn, that's huge. Internships, that's huge. I would start to actually walk around and interact with the people that's there that work in sports at CMU already. Yeah. Go around the basketball staff, go around the football staff, the track, softball, whatever the sport it is that you're trying to get into, and start to connect with those coaches that's there. Because that played a part in what I did. I wasn't part of Central Michigan basketball team. I was friends with the guys because I kind of knew some of them, while I was there. And I stayed in those buildings. I was in the CMU arena, McGurk, like you would have thought that I was playing too. Yeah. But I just, I tried to, get in front of as many people as I could while I was performing the workouts and stuff like that, so people could actually just see me. Yeah. And, after a while, it went like, who is this guy? So then when I had that conversation, I'm able to, use it as a selling point. So like you said, it's you got time to figure out what you want to do and all those things, but you actually have a great opportunity while you're on campus to just interact with the sports that's there. There's people that are professionals there right now that are working in sports like like you guys are trying to do. Go over to the athletic department and have a conversation with the ops people.
Walk in there.
Work in there. It's
that's a lot of students that work I work with athletics at Central. Like a lot of people work in athletics. A lot of students, like they're always looking to hire new people. So
and if you can, intern while you're there. It's like, because one thing I can tell you from like the coaching side of sports, there's never enough help. It's never as many free jobs that you can obtain. That's what I would do. If you, I can almost guarantee. I actually know Niz, man. That's the new assistant at CMU. That's my guy, Coach Niz. Like, I will guarantee that if you ask, hey, I want to come out and help out with the team in some capacity, they'll be able to find something for you to do. Because there's never enough hands on deck throughout just the daily routine of what it takes at the collegiate level for sports. So that'll probably be my added to what Derrick said, because I agree, the LinkedIn, the building the relationships, but you kind of actually get you guys foot in the door now by going over to the athletic side and really starting to network and talk with these coaches that's there every day, just like you.
Yeah, I used to like that. That just reminded me. I was so intentional with what I did. DJ Mosini, who was the director of basketball operations when I was there, I would just walk in the office and introduce myself. And just, like, who is this kid? Who is this kid keep coming in here, man? And that's really, I actually did do an internship in undergrad. I forgot about, but it was with the men's basketball team. But yeah, so just go in there, introduce yourself, and ask for some work, and hopefully, they give you something to do. There's always something for you to do.
If it's not this semester, maybe the next one. Like it's always. Yeah. It's always something. And
there's enough sports going on.
I gotta shout DJ out, because DJ is the reason that we here. So DJ, I don't even know if you know the story of how I got the Bill City job.
No, actually, this is actually great. Yeah.
So listen, I was minoring in coaching while I was at CMU. So I was majoring in sport management. I minored in coaching, and actually one of my coaching classes, our project was to do a scouting report on the game. So it was just like you had to pick a college team, and then you have to scout their opponent and actually come back with a game plan for how you would attack the team. And my team was Kentucky. And this is, I don't remember who they were, but I gave like one of the most detailed breakdowns I could do. Like I broke this down to like the 12th man who probably wasn't going to play. I knew strength, weaknesses of like everybody. Yeah. And I'd never forget, after that, DJ was like, tell me about more about yourself, like just a little bit more. Like you kind of know some things. Like did you play or did you? I'm like, so I just gave my story, and he said, I'm gonna have an opportunity for you. Like, come talk to me tomorrow, and I did. And he was like, hey, you want to coach now? And I'm like, sure. He said, well, I got a guy that said Bill City High School is not that far from here. They're actually looking for a freshman head basketball coach. Would you be willing to do it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna say no, DJ. I don't. Let's go ahead. And I actually literally got the phone call from what's the AD name? You remember that?
Aaron Bukovich was our AD.
Aaron called me, and I went up there. I had a conversation with him, And I was like, do I get an assistant or something to do this with me? And he was like, if someone wants to do it, sure. I called Derrick the same night, and then that's how we got to Bill City. So shout out to DJ. DJ is actually the one that gave me my in for coaching. I didn't even have no other way to
That's a
even
great
navigate
story.
that. But he was the one that in class through a project, he pulled me to the side. We had a conversation, and that's how I meet my point
See,
guard.
just like
Kyle
that,
Slander.
making connections, and
Yup.
that got you to
And that's
so
how,
many different spots throughout the
yup,
times, and that's
yup.
how we met.
That's
Exactly.
how
So,
my point guard. You remember when Sander called 4 out?
oh
Real
yeah,
low?
oh yeah.
Isolation play at the top. Yes.
Oh, I was feeling myself that game for sure. I never hit my growth spurt till out of high school too,
Yeah, that's the
which
Hey,
is just
man.
unfortunate, man.
That's
Yeah,
how it goes
that's how
sometimes.
I go, man.
You got a
That
good
is.
spirit though, man. You had great energy as a player, as a freshman, and you have great energy now. So I'm sure it'll transfer over.
Exactly. You know, just using those tools from sports in the current day, just like you
Yeah.
said. So,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate you guys hopping on this podcast with me. I thought this was really great. It was really nice catching up with you guys.
Mhm.
Anything else that you want to say, or are we good here?
Are we good?
Good, man.
All right.
All
Well,
right,
thank you guys
switch,
for
man.
listening to episode 5 of the CMU Sport Management Podcast.